One man meditated quietly. He had a darkened exoskeleton with gold stripes on them. Like a shining ruby, a horn protruding from the center of the forehead looked like a sword. There were dark red compound eyes below the horns, and these eyes were not closed. They will absorb the information around him and process it continuously in the brain. As for the exoskeleton, it was modified on a whim by his lord, Rimuru. The cells of Rimuru in magic steel replenished the lost parts. It was the natural armor equivalent of the legendary level. However, it's definitely not the exoskeleton alone that makes him so strong. This strong nature stems from the instinct to thirst for battle and never tire of it. To this day, a new prey came before him. Everything is as it should be. He was the strongest man in the maze. He is the strongest guardian, the Bug Emperor Zegion. After walking down the steps leading to the 80th floor of the maze, there is a hut where you can rest. To show that there are no traps inside, the house has no doors and is open to the public. A luxurious door could be seen from the depths of this room. Behind the door is this level's floor guardian room. After walking through the dark vortex, it was this room that Minute arrived in. Several people have been first to this place. Minute's eyes widened slightly, trying to recall if these men had met themselves. The men who had seized such a Minute and were sitting in the chairs talking stood up. Major General Minute, are you alright? I'm a member of the 26th Mechatronics Regiment. Greetings. This maze wasn't that easy to mingle with, allowing the district soldiers and subordinate generals to survive. I know that very well. Raising a hand, Minute stopped the other from introducing himself. If it is a person whose identity is above that of a superior general, all the names and units of configuration he can remember. Yet Minute was unimpressed by these people in front of him. A strong man like that couldn't be willing to serve as a subordinate sergeant, so Minute could speculate on the true identity of the group before him. Yes. It is indeed as you said. I am the 17th ranked man in the order of the Imperial Emperor's Near Guard. The name is Krishna. I'm the 35th, Bazin. I'm the 94th ranked, Raiha. You're really all knights of the Emperor's Guard, aren't you? The reason for infiltrating our army is to monitor this battle. Exactly. Even if you answer honestly like that, it's still a bit of a problem, but not this time. Let's leave that alone for now and talk about what to do next. We just happen to be discussing whether we should do the same. As if taken for granted by his own expectations, Minute continued to let the conversation go on. So, what happened to everyone else? Back to your word. The floor we were teleported from is mentioned in the report. There is a necromancer over there. On behalf of the three of them, Krishna gives the answer. Minute urged him on by sight. That guy is a terrible monster. And the necromancer who guards that king is also a top swordsman. Except for the three of us, everyone else was killed on that floor. If there is criticism that we should have shown up earlier, there is nothing to be said for that. Just facing the necromantic dragon and the necromantic sword saint, plus the immortal king, it would be a miracle that even we survived. Krishna talked to Minute halfway through, and Bazin interjected. He spoke with a tone of anger, on the one hand, and as if chagrined at their misuse. Anyone could tell he meant what he said. It's rude to speak to the Major General, Bazin. But Raiha-san. No, it's okay. This maze is dangerous. We should not talk about identity here, but rather work together to kill a way out of this. Minute put those words out, offering to work with each other. With your words, it's like a shot in the arm for us. Krishna was also well aware of Major General Minute of the Mecha Legion. Rationally speaking, even if he was that strong and joined the Imperial Emperor's Order of Near Guard Knights, it was not surprising that he refused to cooperate. By the way, what did Lord Minute go through before he got here? I took on a whole swarm of legionnaires. You were alone in the face of such a dangerous monster. Since entering this labyrinth, you have met no one else but yourselves. In my case, I was summoned by a voice after beating down the Legion Bees and the Wraith Queen who was suspected of ruling them. I've come to this place in a flash. I see. After hearing Minute give a straightforward answer like this, Krishna was impressed. And how are you? When Raiha finished asking, Minute smiled and said, that's a long time coming. Even as the wait continued, reinforcements seemed to show no sign of coming. This made Minute shed naive expectations. He judged the situation calmly and gave the correct instructions. It's time. It's about time we got ready, too. The words made the Emperor's Near Guards nod their heads speechlessly. Then they took out their pendants and chanted briefly in unison. Open. In a flash, a stream of light erupted, and the three men were armed. There were 3 Emperor close guards, plus Major General Minute, the strongest man in the Mecha Legion. Although there were only 4 people in total, the people gathered here were among the best in the Empire. With a team like this in place, breaking through the maze is no dream either. Yes, everyone is so convinced. There was darkness in front of the door. It's a completely dark space where not even light can shine through. Raiha hurried to light up with the elemental magic of light wide range lighting. The sight that appeared there took the crowd's breath away. The place was a vast wilderness, with the bodies of imperial generals and soldiers piled as high as mountains. At the highest point there was a magical creature that was meditating. That's Zegion. Not sitting directly on top of the body, but floating slightly in midair. Just looking at it was proof enough that Zegion possessed a high degree of magic. Welcome to you, warriors. The voice was low and flooding. Zegion just said the word and a strong sense of oppression appeared throughout the space. This time Minute could be sure. This monstrous creature was the one who had drawn him to this place, the Demon Lord Rimuru. So without thinking, he asked. You are the Demon Lord Rimuru, right? He had already read the report that said the Demon Lord Rimuru was a slime. But how is that? Since it's a slime, it's not surprising to be able to morph into various forms. The most important thing was that this creature released a rather overwhelming Demon Lord Kai. This proves that the creature is the Demon Lord Rimuru, or so Minute thought. He didn't expect that statement to piss off Zegion. How dare you mistake me for the great Lord Rimuru? What? An intense rage enveloped the space. Seeing such a violent reaction from the other side, Minute this time realized the blunder. My name is Zegion. Just one of the 10 lords of the labyrinth. You foolish men who crawl on the ground, it is not a pity to die so foolishly. Despite the passion that burned in his heart, Zegion only blandly informed. There is only one way for you to live, and that is to defeat me. Burn your lives and struggle as hard as you can. Although he spoke arrogantly in the face of the heroes of the Empire, the tone did not sound arrogant and complacent. It made it clear to the Minute that knowing Zegion was stating what he knew to be the truth. Trying to get him to retract those words, as Zegion said, can only show strength. Guys, we're going all out. Yes sir. Got it. I see. And just like that, a truly ravaging showdown ensued. True or false, that's what I'm saying from the heart. That said, Benimaru and I were staring at the scene reflected on the big screen. The image shows what was going on inside the labyrinth until not too long ago, and now it has become quiet. This means that all Imperial General soldiers on all floors were killed in action. The battle is over. However, the sight we just saw was too much for us to talk about. That guy might be better than you. In the end, I finally managed to say what I really felt in my heart. Presumably unwilling to admit it, the look on Benimaru's face was hard to watch. On that part, there are a few possibilities. The tone in which he spoke felt very chagrined. Benimaru also muttered in a small voice, but not to the point where the probability is 0 at best. Just admit it. It's time to be honest and admit it. Kufufufufu. I also fought against the one called Zegion. In addition to having intimidating combat credentials, he is also a worm-type demon beast, a demon nemesis, able to directly nullify even half of a man's magic. Truly an apprentice of Lord Valdor, a careless one could have defeated even me. Just not admitting defeat is not a loss. Losing doesn't count. Just like that, although Diablo said it with a smile, it didn't seem funny to me at all. By the way, it looks like Tensura and the girls have challenged Zegion as well, but I hear there is no record of winning until now. Being able to see the chagrined Tensura, Diablo seemed very content. But just the mere fact that it was a tie with Zegion, those 3 girls could be said to be exceptional. Having seen the combat situation just now, I sincerely think so. Then let's try to review the battle just now. The battle within the labyrinth ended, by and large, as predicted. Being able to successfully convince a few enemies was a highlight, and Kumara's victory was also worth applauding. While the Adalman group and the Pedo's side had regrets, it can only be described as encountering a tricky opponent. That said, there's a guy who rounds up all these masters and even gives them time to nourish themselves. That's all Zegion did. Through Operation Space, Zegion forcefully called over the masters he recognized. It seemed like fun to see Zegion get serious this time, so I decided to just go with him. The results show it was all a rampage. In a phrase, it's a one-sided fight. The first to start the action was Bazin, who had been alone against the Necromancer. In his first move, he used his full strength to kill Zegion with a sword strike that could shatter even the earth. Zegion defuses the left hand by using it in a way that doesn't hinder his opponent's movement. As the crossbelly of the sword was pushed away slightly, Bazin lost his center of gravity, so that he was unable to deliver a continuous attack. Zegion didn't let the break go, and managed to burrow into each other's arms like that. The right foot stomped on the ground with force, and at the same time, the right fist was aimed at the enemy's armor and struck over. Only then did he wonder how much power was contained in that punch, and then he realized that the hardness of that punch was comparable to legendary level. The glowing armor shattered, and Bazin died as a result. It wasn't even 3 seconds after the fight started that this thing happened. The gang probably didn't react for a moment to the sudden death of their partner. The female wizard whose name was Raiha was dumbfounded. It should be clear what would happen if such behavior appeared in front of Zegion. She's still lucky. There was no pain or fear, just death. The right hand, who had been sliced in two with a hand knife, went limp. Seeing this scene, Krishna, who had beaten Albert, let out a shout. Hey, 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 hey. How dare you kill Raiha? Go to hell, you monster. Dimension cut. Anger escalates into fighting spirit, and Krishna shows divine skill. The so-called demon-extinguishing subdimension chop can cut through all defenses and even cut through the subdimension. If I didn't have a space manipulation skill like space domination, it would be impossible to fight against it. It wasn't too much to say that it was a must-kill technique. This strike was even comparable to the Holy Sword technique. But it didn't work on Zegion. Ridiculous. After saying that, Zegion began to twist around. Hey, isn't that one of the absolute defense moves of Covenant King Uriel, the space-twisting defense field? Let me use it, the absolute defense that is admittedly going to be broken, and Zegion uses it perfectly. Facing a stunned Krishna, Zegion said to him. Lord Rimuru granted me this skill. No matter what kind of attack it is, it won't work. I don't remember teaching him. Master Raphael, the King of Wisdom, it turns out you did the right thing. Speaking of Zegion's spatial dominance, that's beyond the scope of unique skills. It's nothing compared to what I use. No wonder it's only about fighting. He can fight Vildora to the point where he's evenly matched. It's no wonder Krishna's attack was blocked. Now that I've seen it, Krishna and the others, they don't stand a chance, but... Listen to me, Krishna. The man, who seemed to take dressing very seriously, was remembered by the name Minute. Minute called out to Krishna. This guy's not simple. Do your best to give him the death blow while I blunt his movements. It looks like they haven't given up trying to win. Minute is going to let Zegion bask in his power. That force I have also analyzed. The Battle of Apito's defeat was not in vain. It's a unique technique called suppressor to manipulate gravity. Through this force, Minute let the surrounding gravitational pull focus on Zegion's side, intending to hold him in check. It's a pity. It didn't work on Zegion. By distorting the space around him, he was also able to manipulate the flow of gravity and defuse it. It turns out there's another use for it, and that surprised me. That said, how did Zegion get so strong? The doubt in my mind began to swell. Is it that Master Raphael, the King of Wisdom, has a way of guiding Zegion? Answer. Perhaps you have forgotten that the Master gave his flesh to him. Under the influence, the soul corridors have been interconnected. I remembered. Having previously rescued the dying Zegion, I did mend his wounds with a part of my flesh. But to put that into perspective, Apito had the same conditions, didn't she? Answer. It is because of the difference in talent. The physical performance of the individual named Zegion is extraordinary, and has imposed the maximum degree of hyper-optimization. The result allowed him to acquire abilities similar to those of his master. Apito was good enough, but it didn't seem to be enough for Master Raphael, the King of Wisdom. It seems to be satisfied with Zegion, and I don't have a concrete idea of how good Zegion is. And then, as expected. Dimension Ray. Only to see Zegion spread out his right hand, 5 fingers, and casually swing it downward. Just this action cuts the subdimension. In other words, there is a spatial disconnect. There is nothing that can be done to combat this phenomenon without space manipulation skills. Although the 2 men from the Imperial Army had reacted early, there was no point in just taking a one-sided beating. Krishna intended to use the monster extermination subdivision chop to counteract it, but couldn't defeat his opponent and was cut in half. The power gap is clear at a glance. As for Minute's side, he was going to release interference waves around himself, knocking the spatial break off balance, but it was a pointless struggle. In the face of spatial distortions, almost all physical phenomena are impossible to counteract. The expression of surprise on his face was indescribable. The first defeat of a man who has never lost a battle to anyone. That look is what it looks like. Maybe it's not too late to admit defeat, and Minute is out of the way. And just like that, the fight began before even a minute had passed, and the challenger was dead. No, that's no longer a showdown. It is unilateral decapitation and extermination. How could such a strong master be nesting in a maze? What a waste, huh? That guy's a secret weapon, though. Can't let this guy out into the world.